So hey guys, and welcome back to Ames's Corner. How you all doing out there? Happy holidays to everyone so inclined. So yeah, today we got the rally wagon here up on the lift because it's time to start cracking away at the lift kit. We got the 96 at a point where it runs and drives and is at home, so I figure it's a good time to get a little progress going on this thing. So we've amassed a few parts. I got a few things kicking here. First thing I kind of showed you guys on the last video I made, the Saab updates and all that, where I had made a template here for the front upper strut mounts. That is exactly what I need the metal pieces to be. And then I have this piece of 1/4 inch plate here. We get this right at the local steel yard. This piece here, it's a 4-foot piece, cost me $15. And that'll give me, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, however many. I mean, I'm hoping for, 6. That's 1.25 inches. 8. That's 8, 2 inches. 4 inches is every 4 pieces is 1 inch of lift. So I need as many as it's going to take. So we got our plasma cutter here. This is the shop's plasma cutter. Uses superheated plasma to heat the metal and then compressed air to blow that out nice and clean. This is a 220 unit, the big plug, because I'm wired in my bay because I do all the fab here. That's what I power the welder off. So it's not a low power unit, even though it's physically not very large. Now I haven't had the best of luck with this unit. There's a gauge on it that tells what it cuts, I believe. Where is it? Oh, maybe not. Maybe that was another one I was looking at. But yeah, I've kind of had a little bit of trouble with this unit. It's fine for the thin stuff, but when I try to cut the thicker stuff, it doesn't really like it. So we're gonna try to see if I can cut this out with that. If it goes all right, then great. If not, I'm gonna have to probably get these cut, probably water jet cut or something, or whatever. I'm not sure, but I'll try that a little later. What I want to do now is I want to show you guys the rear. Those of you guys that know what's going to happen, I have the suspension that's in the car, so the car can be driven, because this is my daily driver. So I went to the Duke of Saab, brought you guys along. We got these rear coil springs and buckets and shocks. I got another one down there in the parts bucket that we can modify, and that way if I mess something up or it doesn't work, I don't have to go find one to drive the car home again. So if you're going to modify the parts on your car, don't modify the parts on your car. Go find new parts to modify. That way, you can still get the car around and drive it around. And being here, I work here at this shop, I can't leave something on my lift for a while I get new parts. So anyways, I need to cut this out. This is from the top there to there is about 2 inches. So we're going to go for a 2-inch lift on this car. Now I'm just going to basically probably weld this up, maybe reinforce back in here. This doesn't need to be open. And I'm just going to cut this much metal out and come up with a way to weld that down. But unfortunately, when you lift a car or change suspension heights, and I don't know if this translates well, we have a bit of a negative camber there, or is that positive? Negative camber there, where the front, the top's coming out a bit. So I need to correct that, because when the car is lifted, it's going to be sitting statically about where it is now. So I was thinking of, some car makers use a slot with an oblong washer and 2 pins or 2 studs or 2 whatever pieces to hold the washer, and then when you spin it, it will move the arms forward and backwards. Now Saab didn't put any adjustability in these. Sorry about the light there. Didn't put any adjustability in these, so there's really not a lot of options. But one of you guys made the comment that this is pretty much the suspension in this car. I'm going to swear a little bit here, is straight out of the Saturn L series. I apologize for that. So they have these part numbers. Moog actually distributes them. If you guys can read the number, that's the number you're going to want if you have a problem with your rear suspension. We have the chuck wagon outside with the twice module. He has something's bent on his right rear, and he has a camber issue that can't be corrected, and it's eating his tires. So this might help him out, and this might help you guys out. This is actually that arm right there, and everything that comes in that part number package is the arm itself with a turnbuckle that allows it to be longer or shorter, which is going to help that camber out, this being the lower, that lower bar, which on the car, when we take a look, is just a stamped piece. It's not very thick. It's not very strong. I mean, it's strong in its application, pull and push, but if anything ever touches those, you high side it or you whack a curb, it does not take a lot to bend those arms. And these here, I believe they're made by a company called SPC. Yeah, they're actually embossed SPC on them. And that seems like it might be a little more rigid, a little more forgiving to kind of abuse, which is good because that's what we're going to be doing. It has a pretty basic instruction sheet. So I think for today, because like I said, we have to drive this car, we're going to add rear adjustability for camber and probably minimum toe. I think maybe we'd get a little bit of toe adjustment in or out there. Might give a little bit of toe if you needed it, but probably not a lot. But this is really going to correct our camber issue. So I think we should get the ability to fix that camber before we lift it. That way I don't wear my tires out for however long it takes me to build those buckets. Now, the flashlight here, the complicated part of this is that, you know, you just unbolt them and bolt them in. Down here, that mount looks pretty easy. You know, you get that bolt will come right out. You know, it might not hit the backing plate. I probably don't have to remove the wheel. But the inner ones, you know, that's the nut and that's the bolt. And of course it goes that way. And it's probably going to hit the sway bar there, and it's definitely going to hit the fuel tank. So it's not just to pull the bolts out, put the new one, probably take me about 5-10 minutes to do. So we're going to have to come up with another way. Now, first reaction is, man, I don't want to drop the fuel tank because, you know, you got fuel lines, exhaust in the way. We got straps that should probably be replaced if they're removed. You know, they're all right for now. So I don't want to open that can of worms. So I think the best bet is this subframe up here is only held in by 4 big 18mm bolts. I think if I undo nothing but those bolts, we'll get this subframe to drop down enough to get that bolt out of there. And then this side here looks like it might just come out without any fuss at all. But we'll I got you up here on the head cam. Hopefully you're going to be able to see everything I can see. Just give you a little better view there. So tools we'll be using today, oh, the hood closed, that's all right, is I just picked up this Mac Tools cordless battery powered impact driver, 20 volt lithium ion battery in it, and it is a freaking animal. My only complaint, I have 3 complaints about it. It weighs a bloody ton. It's loud when you're actually using the impact part of it. I mean, it moves now, it's nice and quiet, but when you, that's really loud. And then when you actually tighten the bolt, it gets louder. And then my third complaint is there's a light, which always seems to blind you. So I just, you know, fix that with a piece of tape. So yeah, awesome gun. The price, it was, you know, I bought it as a kit with a free two batteries, an extra battery, 1 battery, an extra battery, and then a 1/4-inch drill driver, which I'll probably never use. It was like $700 and something. Yeah, 700 right here, $700 piece. So it is what it is to be cordless. But the reasoning is I can take this home. I don't need an air compressor. It's as powerful as any air gun I own. Yeah, I can take it home. I can take it to a junkyard. I can throw it in the car and change a wheel on the side of the road or do something like that. So yeah, it's $700 and something, but you know, I've already probably used it well worth that. I know I've made more than $700 with it in the month and a half I've owned it. So anyways, let's start, I suppose, with seeing if this subframe will drop. So we're going to take these 4 bolts out. Now I've left the springs and shocks attached, and it's also attached up here, so this really isn't going to go anywhere. Normally if I was going to undo a subframe, I'd put some sort of brace under there, or a tall boy dead man lift or something, but I think we'll be alright in this case. Yeah, see what I mean? That thing's an animal. I'm surprised these are coming out nice. You can start to see that subframe moving now. All right. And now we have a lot of play. Now basically what it's doing is it's swinging on these pivot points, so you know, and then held by the spring, so we're really captured well. Now the question is, are we going to be able, let me get my light somewhere, to pivot this in such a way? I think we'll be all right. There's only one way to try to know for sure, right? Now, let's see. Alright, this may need a little help. Alright, so I can't pry off the tank anywhere. Alright, a little punch here. Careful not to hit the tank too hard, and then your pry bar. You found the cookies? No. Of course you did. Alright, of course you did. Now, give me a lever long enough, I'll move the world, as long as I can find a fulcrum that isn't going to ruin the world. So, problem is when I pivot it down, it torques the bolt up a bit. And I can just go away. I've had another hand. And pivot this thing one way or the other. And I can get enough out of it, just can't keep it there. Maybe I need a tubifer. I need tubifer. Ah, my tubifers. Yeah. And, maybe a smaller piece of wood here, but maybe not. Oh, there we go. Looks pretty good. I just need to find a way to hold that piece of wood up. That ought to do it. There's really not a lot of force here we're dealing with, so not really worried. It's slowly giving us just enough room. Basically, if you're curious to what I'm prying on, there's actually a mounting puck or a tang. I don't know if you guys can see it up there to the brake hose. Very carefully using that as my fulcrum. And looks like that is just about enough there. I should be able to pop it out. Now when I reinstall these, I'm going to reinstall this bolt the other way, so if I ever have to change this, I just change it. And just a little more. Give me just a little more. Yeah, that's alright. I think we'll be alright. And also I'm going to loosen this bolt here. I love these 1/2-inch impact swivels. That one there's from Cornwell. They don't last forever, but man, they do make your job easier when you need them. So we should be ready to pop this one out. There we go. I can't stress enough how careful you need to be around these plastic tanks. You guys will remember a few years back I punctured a tank doing some exhaust work, and the Sawzall hit a tank on a Volkswagen. That was not a good day, but I still pulled the victory from the ashes on that one. There we go. We are disarmed, and there it is. It's pretty light, pretty flimsy. I mean, I can literally bend it a little just with my hands. So there's not a lot of strength, you know. If you ever hook a chain to that, you're just going to bend it in two. So I'll hold on to those, because just in case I ever want to put them back in. And what I'm going to do now, just because the suspension is right where I want it, I'm going to take a moment to pre-set this to the right length. Now, when you're adjusting anything with these turnbuckles, what these will do is one of these is going to be a regular thread. Yeah, this is going to be this side's a regular thread. If you guys can see this or not, where are you looking? So this is a regular thread, and this is a reverse thread. So when you move this, it's going to extend both sides. So we're going to extend this out to be exactly the length of the arm we're replacing it with. A little more. Actually, I'm going to take this out. You want to make sure you have the same distance on each side. You'll notice I'm kind of making sure I don't twist one out of phase, or this won't be able to adjust all the way either way. I would say just a little more. I would say we're right there right now. So then we'll just loosely hand tighten these for now, and then I'll tighten them after, because I'm going to show how we change adjustment. I don't know if I'm going to use this bolt they gave. I think I'm going to use the original Saab hardware. I just think it's a better quality than whatever this company got out of their bin. And I think we'll start with the subframe up here bolt. May have to make a little adjustment. Sometimes when you take suspension bits apart on these stamped steel pieces, the ears can be bent in a little bit, so make sure you guys are looking the right way. There we go. So bring this one over, this one up. Got that light-o. All right. And as promised, we will not be putting this together the way it came apart. I wonder what these little cups were for. They kept moisture off of them. They're on one side but not the other. Anybody see that? I don't know. I wonder what they're for. I'm not going to be reusing it because it doesn't seem like a structural thing to me. And then so you guys can see everything. There we go. So alright, you know what? While this is loose and moving around, this might be just the time to do this side. do also like my snap-on microlithium tools a lot. A lot of power in electrical tools nowadays and batteries. Nice. I knew that side was going to be easier. And there's the other arm. And I think now we can bolt this subframe back up. And that hopefully will make these arms easier to line up. Sorry guys, what are you guys looking at? You guys looking where I'm looking? Alright, let's sock her home evenly. You see how loud that gets? Man, is it powerful. All right. Perfect. All right. And like I said, we're going to use those bolts that came with it just because the nuts are... Oh yeah, it's way easier that way, huh? There it is. That's pretty much it. And we'll just torque these down. tight. Now, there we go. We pretty much got them installed. The only thing left to do is just a little bit of final adjustment when we're on the ground, of course. But those two bars will now allow me to change the camber, which is the angle of the wheels, to wherever I decide the lift kit height to be, which is super important to get this kind of stuff figured out before you go lifting the springs up, because then we're going to just be, wrong camber, wearing tires on the outside edge. And although these aren't the tires we're using on the lift kit, there's still some decent tread on them. I don't really want to ruin them. I've been pretty diligent rotating them to keep the wear even. So, and luckily this car is really good about wearing tires evenly, so I can't complain about that. And as we lift it, it will continue to wear tires evenly. Awesome. I like the look of those bars. They definitely look trick under there. Alright guys, let me finish tightening up the rest of this. And let's see if we can cut some 1/4" steel. Hopefully, we can get through this. Not cutting very well. Yeah, I'd say that's a no-go, guys. So, unfortunately, just as I suspected, this plasma cutter just hasn't got the nut. Just hasn't got the power to cut those out. Should though. Definitely should. And we had the freak switch all the way to 11. Well, that's disappointing, boys. That's disappointing. Well, give and take, give and take. One step forward, one step back. Well, at least we got the rear done on the Rally-Wagon today. I'm happy with that. I wish I could have gotten at least a couple of these front spacers cut. So that's a little disheartening, but at least we got the rear suspension figured out. So anyways, guys, I'm about out of time today. I think the old ladies had just about enough, being very patient over there. Well, anyways, guys, yeah, the old lady's getting a little tight. She's giving me the sign. And I think I've had about enough. I think we're going to go pick up some lunch. So anyways, yeah, questions, comments, down in the comment section. I read them all. I may not have time to reply them all. If you guys have any tips or tricks or any kind of word of a good, inexpensive, easy way to cut those pieces out, I'd love to hear it. I think I'm going to actually stop at a fabrication shop down the street on the way out of here. Maybe they'll be able to hook me up. We'll see what happens with that. Well, anyways, guys, until next time, Merry Christmas, and keep it out of the cabbage.